Despite what some of the critics might say, the Super Mario Bros. Movie is a bona fide hit at the box office. And you know what? I think it's pretty good. Not only is it a good movie, it's actually pretty funny too. But which character is the funniest of them all? Let's figure that out today. Here's your spoiler warning. I'm going to mention things that happen in the movie. So if you haven't seen this yet and you care, maybe just put this in your watch later list. Let's go ahead and get started with the bottom F tier. We're going to start off with the least funniest character out of everybody, and that's going to be Mario and Luigi's dad. He's just straight up mean, and I don't like him. And on top of that, he doesn't really say anything that's funny. Sure, he might provide a lot of motivation for Mario, thus being important to the plot and everything, but that doesn't mean he's going to be funny. So he's down there in the bottom tier. He's not going to be alone in F tier, though. He's also going to be joined by the Toad General. This character is nothing. Like all the other Toads, at least, are like high squeaky voice. This guy's deep voiced. He doesn't do anything really at all. There's no jokes that he's got. And so, yeah, he's in F tier. We're going to move up to D tier next with 3 characters in this one. The first one's going to be Mario and Luigi's mom. She's nice. She's sweet. You know, you might be able to get a tiny bit of a chuckle out of like just out of kind of naive in everything she is. But, you know, she's not very funny. It's not a strike against her. Again, not really what she's meant to be, but just not bringing a lot of laughs. I'm going to put Mario and Luigi's 2 uncles, Arthur and Tony, in D tier as well. They kind of get some digs in on Mario. They're not funny. They think they're funny, and they only really have that one scene. And so because of that, I'm going to leave them down there in the D tier. As we move up again to C tier, we're going to start off with the least funny out of all of the characters in C tier. As we Giuseppe, voiced by Charles Martinet. He's playing kind of like, you know, Jumpman, like the original version of Mario from like the Donkey Kong arcade game and everything. And, you know, he gets like one good line, and the line's funny because you recognize the voice and everything, but outside of that, the joke doesn't really land. It's great to hear the original Mario's voice here, as well as, you know, having voiced Mario's dad, but using that voice actor alone is not really a joke. And so, you know, for me, he's going to just have to stay here. Then we're going to move up to Princess Peach and Mario are both going to kind of fit into the same range here. They're driving the plot. They're the heart of the movie, right? Their growth and development and what they're going through is actually, you know, what is driving the story forward. And, you know, those characters don't usually get the chance to be some of the funniest in the movie. Sure, they get some little moments here and there. You know, they both have some different, you know, funny reactions to like other things that are happening, but usually it's them reacting to something that's even funnier. Again, we got to remember, this isn't me saying that they are like not good characters or anything. We're just specifically talking funny here, and neither of these are very high ranking in that category. So then when we get to the top of C tier, the funniest of this mid-range, I'm going to be putting the Koopa General. I like how dedicated this guy is to wanting to kill Mario. He is so into the idea of Mario being dead in the Rainbow Road sequence. The shot of him walking out of the flaming wreckage of his car is also very great, reminiscent of, you know, the T-1000 from Terminator 2. It's just really good stuff. The fact that he's down in C tier really just kind of speaks to like what is up higher than him. So yeah, this is going to be finishing out that C tier, and it's going to move us up into the B tier. So we're going to start off with Spike from the Wrecking Crew, which is going to be Mario and Luigi's old boss. And I just like his design a whole bunch. His sunglasses are great. You know, his beard and mustache are just fantastic. His entire relationship with Mario and Luigi is, you know, it's confrontational, and so, you know, you're supposed to be taking him as a little bit of a threat, but at the same time you get to see him kind of like crumble underneath all of that fake bravado once, you know, real danger shows up in Brooklyn at the end of the movie. Then we get the Penguin King, which, you know, some of their biggest jokes and everything were kind of spoiled in the trailers, right? The first trailer really just kind of shows their whole first big scene. The penguins are a nice addition. It was very surprising when they showed up in that first trailer and be like, oh man, I remember the penguins. Penguins are great. The king gets to continue to interact with some other characters while he's hanging in like a jail cell underneath Bowser's floating island and everything. And so that's a lot of fun as well. And if I'm going to be honest with you, I just kind of like his look as well. You know, just like with Spike, just looking at him kind of makes me smile. Moving up the line, we're going to get to Luigi, who is my favorite Mario character overall, so you can know I'm not being biased here, right? I'm not putting my favorite guy up at the very top. So with Luigi's cowardice and everything, he just kind of naturally is funnier than Mario. The stuff where he's running away from the dry bones and then ends up in the castle full of the Shy Guys, great stuff. His little scene with Bowser and Kamek as well, very good. And in fact, his scene at the beginning where he's with Spike and everything, and he's talking about how his mom called him on the phone, and that's how they have had their first call in regards to their TV commercial, is just, you know, a lot of fun. Charlie Day is doing great work here. Love him and love him in this part. And then the top of the B tier is going to be Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong. Again, not a lot of huge laugh moments from him, but just, again, his demeanor. Whenever he's on the screen, it's like, okay, this is a fun scene. He's got good interactions with, you know, both Princess Peach and with Donkey Kong. I like his relationship with Donkey Kong a lot. They just have a good back and forth. Going into the movie, I kind of expected him to be more of a comedic character, but, you know, B tier is a great spot for him to end up. So now we get up into that A tier, and here is where we're going to be finding the characters that almost have a laugh every scene that they're in. We're going to start off with Donkey Kong. Seth Rogen, of course, being a comedic actor, you expected this part to be a funny one. And I love the way that they are representing the character here, right? Donkey Kong is like this carefree guy who is just wanting to do his own thing and show off. And it really kind of lines up with how the character has been portrayed in, you know, the games. Like, it feels like Donkey Kong Country, Donkey Kong. I really like that he still doesn't like Mario, even when they're teaming up at the beginning of that whole part of the movie. You know, talking about how he hates Mario, wanting to do the peck dance all the time. It's great stuff. Kamek, again, is a character that I expected to be funny, and I was not disappointed in that. Really like the scene where he is, you know, up playing the piano with Bowser. He's a great kind of, you know, that straight man for Bowser to be going off of, but he still gets some funny scenes himself. I really like when he's dressed up like Peach so Bowser can be practicing how he's going to propose, and how he doesn't like getting interrupted while that's going on just as much as Bowser doesn't. He's really kind of got like those similar vibes to like LeFou from Beauty and the Beast. He's just wholeheartedly behind Bowser, cheering him on, and just thinks that he can do no wrong. Now this next character, I don't even really know what he's called. Is he like Bouncer Kong, or like he's like the gatekeeper guy at the Kong Kingdom? And I just really like the sports coat ape, right? When he's driving around and everything, it's all good. But for me, what sells it the most is after they land up and everybody gets off of his car, and how he just drives off the cliff and flies away. But just that moment where he drives and it just goes off the cliff, it's so good. Plus with those sunglasses, like, come on, this guy's awesome. I was literally laughing like the whole time he was in the movie. And so percentage-wise, he's got to be pretty high up on the list. And finishing up that A tier, we're going to have Toad. You know, with a character like Toad, sometimes you can be worried, like, are they going to be too obnoxious? You know, because they've really got that, they're doing the voice stuff. It's really high-pitched. I think that they do it in a way where it's not too bad. I really like that he's always calling him and Mario best friends. I don't think that that's overplayed. Like, the joke doesn't happen too many times, but every time it does get mentioned, I always smile at that. Toad got one of my two biggest laughs out of the entire movie when they're putting all their, you know, their carts together, and he rolls up and he's in like a giant monster truck, and he's got his sunglasses and he's just like losing control of it as he's trying to look cool with it. It was just super funny, and, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing more of this character as like the series is going to continue on. And then that is going to bring us up into the S tier. And so we got three people in the S tier. First up, we got Francis the dog, a character I did not know would exist until I got into the movie. But man, this is my biggest laugh of the entire movie. See, at the beginning of the movie, Mario and Luigi go to the house where Francis lives and are trying to fix up the bathroom, right? Luigi accidentally steps on his bone, breaks it, and so this dog is mad at them from the start, so he's trying to stop him. That whole scene is actually just so funny. Every time they're cutting to the dog, his reactions are hilarious because he's just like so desperately wanting to pretty much just kill Mario and Luigi. And this is before anything like fantastical has happened at all. When the water in the shower starts to rise and he's just like kind of kicking his little feet as he's floating higher and higher to escape from the shower. It's so funny. But the biggest laugh that I get from Francis comes at the end of the movie after they save Brooklyn, and like Mario and Luigi's dad is like, oh, this is my kids and everything. Luigi looks over at the crowd and he sees the dog, and the dog just like gives him like a nod, like that he respects him now. And that I could not stop laughing. It was so funny. And so from that alone, I got to put him up in the S tier. The next one in S tier is going to be Lumalee, which is like a captured little Luma right from Mario Galaxy. A fun little addition, like if you're just like, oh, what a nice little Easter egg. But then the fact that it's voiced by like a little kid saying these super depressing sayings, and how everyone around him is responding in a way where it's like, can you just please stop being like this? It was good every time it happened. It didn't happen too much where it started to get like obnoxious or anything, but every time that it did happen was a breath of fresh air during the movie, and just like helped to just kind of pick up the energy for what was going on. If the rest of the Lumas are like this, once we finally get to like that Mario Galaxy stuff and some of the sequels for this, we could be in for some really funny scenes. And then lastly, we have Bowser himself. He's going to be the funniest character. Should we be surprised at this? No, I don't think so. Jack Black has, a proven track record when it comes to voicing animated characters and just being funny in general. He's been being funny for, goodness, three decades at this point. The fact that they really stuck with, Bowser just wanting to marry Princess Peach as like his motivation, and how they reveal that, but yet still keep him as a threat and everything. It's just this nice juxtaposition of like his character, right? He hates everybody else. He wants to kill Mario, but at the same time, he still wants Peach to like him. And his constant questions of like, does Peach like Mario? Like that scene between Luigi and Bowser is so good. When he asks Luigi, he's like, do princesses find him attractive? It's just like, oh my gosh, they've nailed this character completely. And that's not even mentioning like the Peach song, which is just all I hear from anybody who has like seen this movie. It's just like singing the peachy, peachy, peachy song. And it's so good. Plus, I really was not expecting to see him in his, top hat and his tuxedo in this first movie. So, and good on the movie for getting us there. So glad that we're going to get to see more of him, obviously, in the next one. So yeah, there we go. The Super Mario Bros. Movie was a lot of fun and just cheerful, colorful. You can take anybody to go see this thing and they're going to have a good time with it. Let me know in the comments below, who do you think was the funniest character? What scene made you laugh the most? Don't forget to check out some of the other tier lists that we've done talking about the Mario video game series. Thanks so much for being here. Appreciate you stopping by. And don't forget to come back next week as we're talking about more movies. Until then, take care and we'll see you later. Bye.